Well, it has been a pretty good run, but it is official. Bitcoin is dead for the 500th time. It's actually crazy how often Bitcoin dies, and that no matter what the price is, someone will always say Bitcoin is dead. And there's a little chart for that here, obviously showing all of these dots are times that Bitcoin was said to be dead and different prices. And you can see there's tons of them. You can see down here is there's a list of that is dead, why people are saying was who it was, what was going on. And you can see it's 365 more plus all this stuff. It's over 400 times that Bitcoin has been declared dead and completely unusable, and yet it never goes away. So this time when the price is going down and everyone's panicking saying, oh my God, this is insane, people obviously saying Bitcoin's dead. I knew this was going to happen. You got Peter Schiff tweeting about Bitcoin all the time, trying to take victory laps. The bears come out in full force. And honestly, there's no better time than when the bears are out and feeling confident, because Bitcoin just seems to do the opposite of what everyone thinks it is. When everyone thinks it's going to 100K, it goes down. When everyone thinks it's going down, it goes up. So, but the Bitcoin price here, obviously, if we look at this, I'm going to have to move this over a bit, but we can kind of see right here, $57,000 over 58. The big drop here was this month, down 18%. This is actually up a bit because it was down to like 54. It was down like over 20%, all the way from $71,000 earlier in the 1 month ago. So this is obviously a big drop. Not so big that it's like, oh my God, this is insane for Bitcoin. It's not really insane for Bitcoin, to be honest, but obviously people are going to run with that, think that it's crazy. But this is just kind of a normal thing. And there's two things that people are pointing to as to why the price is going down like this. Honestly, you can't really always just point to something and say, this is why this thing is happening, because nobody really knows, right? There's a market. The simple answer is if the price is going down, there's more sellers than buyers. If the price is going up, there's more buyers than sellers. Not always is there a related thing as to why something is happening. But these are the reasons that people are pointing to right now, which is the German government, these guys getting rid of their Bitcoin. They confiscated Bitcoin from, I believe, a pirating website. They got some guy, they got him to hand over the Bitcoin. So they came into almost 50,000 Bitcoin. And you can see them starting to sell it off here. They've gone from, it was 49,000 something. They're sitting at like 40,000 Bitcoin right now. So they are selling. And obviously, that's a lot of Bitcoin. Say 10,000 Bitcoin is what, like hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's a lot of Bitcoin here. We got another chart. Just see, this is their exact numbers, almost 50K to about 40K. So they have been dumping. People been following the wallet, so you can kind of see them taking the wallet, sending it to either different wallets or exchanges. So they have been selling, you see 98 million, 23 million, 23 million, 29, 11. So obviously they're selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in this screenshot alone, 175 million. So they've been selling Bitcoin, and that is something people point to and say, look, this is why the price is going down. They're selling a ton of Bitcoin. Another thing, too, is this right here with the Mt. Gox news, people being scared that people are going to start selling their Mt. Gox Bitcoin. But this has been rumored multiple times before where they say Mt. Gox is paying people back, people panic, and then nobody gets paid back. So maybe this time's different. I don't know. Apparently, we have a Bitcoin wallet that people are looking at with 47,000 Bitcoin in it, and they did a test transaction or something. So maybe people are lining up to sell or to give back this Mt. Gox Bitcoin. The problem is that with this redemption thing, it's not, people aren't going to get all of their Bitcoin back. Some people are going to get a fraction of it back. Some people are going to get cash back from what Bitcoin is valued at when it was lost. It's a whole kind of mess to figure out what's really going on here and what the impact will be. Will it be everyone dumping all of their Mt. Gox coins all at once if they get them back? Probably not, right? Some people will sell, some people will keep it, some people will hold it, and some people will just do whatever they want, send it somewhere else. So it's hard to say what's going to happen, but this is the FUD that people spread up. You got Germany selling, Mt. Gox giving people back, people saying that's a lot of Bitcoin. This is going to nuke the market, and probably trying to front run this. But at the end of the day, nobody knows what's going to happen. So sitting here and trying to say, oh, is this going to impact it? How is it going to impact it? I'll buy back after this. It's just ride the wave. That's what the best strategy typically has been for anything investing, is to not over lever yourself and not put yourself in a dangerous situation where you will either get liquidated or be forced to sell when it's down, right? That's not what you want. You want cash on hand, the emergency fund, to make sure that if something goes wrong, you don't have to sell assets, because if you have to sell assets, typically, when things go wrong, they go wrong at the worst possible times. It's never a good time to have an emergency. Usually, if you have all of your money invested, it's going to be the market's down. It's going to be down 10, 20%, and then you're going to have an emergency. So you're going to have to lock in those losses. It's a whole mess. So the idea for everything should be keep what you have and make sure that you don't have to sell it at a bad time. But also with Bitcoin, we are looking at some of the biggest liquidations ever. So this is what happened. See here, on-chain data confirms the second largest liquidation event in Bitcoin's history, right after the FTX collapse in 2022. And that's obviously from the news that Germany is selling, Mt. Gox coins coming back on, all of this stuff. So you can see these are the lines here. You can see this one with the white dot is when FTX went down. And then this other white dot is where we are right now with all of this news. So there is a lot of news going on, a lot of thoughts, a lot of liquidations, a lot of activity. Doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. As we saw with FTX, it kicked off, the price fell hard, people were worried, there's a lot of panic, but eventually and ultimately the price came back. So I think that Bitcoin's at a point where it's not going to die. It can't go to zero because it's just not going to happen anymore. And what's more likely to happen is that the price will be turbulent short term, but long term, it just kind of works its way higher as it's a scarce asset. And when people are buying it and holding it, there's just less going around. But that's what we're looking at with Bitcoin. That's the two FUD events, the Germany selling and Mt. Gox giving people back. Also, what we could look at, because these are billions of dollars. Germany, I think, it's like $2 billion worth, or 2 point something billion. And the Mt. Gox Bitcoin's like $8 billion, right? So it's a lot of money. But when you go and look at the volumes Bitcoin's doing right here, it's $22 billion for a 24-hour period. So Bitcoin does somewhere around like $20 billion a day in volume. So even though Germany has 2 billion, Mt. Gox has 8 billion, if all of that all at once hit the market, it would severely impact the price, but it's only about 50%. It'd be like $10 billion. So it would still send the price tumbling down, but it's still not even all of the volume for one day. So when you zoom out and see Germany's selling $200 million a day, that's nothing in the grand scheme of $20 billion in volume a day. So it's just like there's so many things that could be going on, and people are always going to point to this happening, and that's why the market's responding, or this happening, and that's what's going on. When ultimately, if there's just more buyers and sellers one day, the price goes up, and if there's more sellers than buyers, the price is going to go down. Bitcoin's at such a huge price and market cap and amount of money that it moves daily and trades in daily that it's just not going to be impacted severely by one single event, unless that's matching like multi-billions of dollars in one day, tens of billions of dollars. That'll impact stuff severely. Like, it has to be a super large amount of money to have such a drastic impact on the market. That's what's going on. Honestly, just think that it's interesting to see everybody panic and everything going on. A lot of fear in there, and as what Warren Buffett says, when there's blood in the streets, you get to buying. So, that's what a lot of whales have been doing. A lot of whales have been buying Bitcoin during this. So really got to ask yourself, if they want to buy it right now and everyone else wants to sell it, who's right? That's going to do it for this video. As always, I'm going to smash the button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next